Oh, welcome to the Marlene Cox Show. You know, I'm just running over. I'm so excited about everything that's fashion, everything that happened in the New York Fashion Week. We are just overwhelmed. But before we get started, as always, I'd like to give you a little word of wisdom, if I may. And you know what? It goes with style. Style is a way to say who you are without having to speak. You are watching the Marlene Cox Show.
Watching the Marlene Cox Show. Finally, a show for models about models.
Well, as I said, I was going to give you some of that excitement and things that happened at the New York Fashion Week this year in September, first part of September. And you know, we're going to be connecting the style with the fashion. Things that happened in New York Fashion Week. You know, New York Fashion Week, it was September the 6th, it all started. The streets were full, jam-packed with excitement. Events were everywhere. Restaurants were full. Collaboration, presentations. People were singing on the corners. The prompters were up all over Madison Square Garden. I mean, everywhere you went. Fashion lovers around the world tuned in and showed up for that big experience. Can you just imagine walking through that whole experience with the latest trends, collections, the industry's most well-known designers. And I always like to add here, we're saying but there's a lot of the new designers upcoming. You might not know all of their names right now, but you will know their names. And it is to discover all the new names and the new faces and all the styles and the glitter. It was so exciting. This is such an exciting part of the year to participate in New York Fashion Week. Usually filled with, as always, presentations, and you had all the runway shows, and again, I cannot speak enough on the collaborations and the online events and that experience. And for everyone, the show is over. New York Fashion Week is over, but you can go online and look where you can stream whatever there is, so you can look at those. Some of them are free. If you want to see everything, the big stage, the small stage, the medium stage, go ahead and stream it. So much was happening during this year's New York Fashion Week. It was such an exciting difference. It was such an exciting thing, keeping track of all the exciting events that took place. It was just amazing to look into the restaurants, of course, the hustle and the bustle of the flights flying into LaGuardia, and some people even flying into Kennedy. Some people taking the train to Madison Square Gardens. Oh my goodness, it was just amazing. New York is an amazing city. So the shows, everything was such amazing for that New York schedule. And so you know what? We're going to catch you up if you weren't able to be there at the New York Fashion Week. And we're going to catch you up on the Marlene Cox Show. And we will be right back.
You are watching the Marlene Cox Show.
Today, we're going to provide you with some insights and things that was happening at the New York Fashion Week. And there's so many ways that people got involved. So if you missed it this year, some people missed it this year, Valencia, get on your calendar, pull your calendar out, be ready for next year in September. Start planning now so we can try to share with you some of the things, Valencia, that happens at the New York Fashion Week and how people can get involved with New York Fashion Week. So it's always an exciting time to have the New York Fashion Week going on, and all the early things that happen there. I can't say enough for I'm thinking about last year, 2024, the beginning of it all, 2024 when they had them in January and February. Just all the excitement. If you were there then in January and February, think about all the excitement that went on now. Plus that with the excitement that went on this September and New York Fashion Week in Valencia, it was amazing. People. It was beyond reality. I mean, just to see, not just the fashion show was on the streets too, not even in the main rooms, just to see the fashion and the time that people took to prepare themselves to come out to see other people in fashion. But they came being who they were in fashion. And I love it because you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's there looking for the next big look, who's looking for the next style, the next model. So it was just really an exciting time for people to be up in at the official New York Fashion Weekend. And people always say, Marlene, who's your favorite designer? Let me tell you what, I'm going to go right back to my safe girl. Always going to go back to her, Diane Van Furstenberg. And after that, there were so many. So here's your homework. You need to go online and find out who the designers were there and what was their niche. That's your assignment. Find out what were their niche this September at Fashion Week. You know, so it's over now, but find out what the designers were. And then once you get through that, pick the ones that are your best one, and why don't you drop us a note at info@mayamodels.com. And listen, that'd be a good way to get our audience pulled into what we are doing with the whole thing with New York Fashion Week. So what are some of the things that you would like to think about or imagine or whatever as far as the New York Fashion Week? I think there was another fashion week going on too, the DC. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on, but we're just going to put a little bit more emphasis on the New York Fashion Week. That was the first play, I think back in the, don't quote me in this, 1930s, 35, I think was one of the first times New York Fashion Week actually started. Because, you know, it all started in Paris. And then Paris brought it, and from there it came to New York. And at one time in my generation, that's where it was. It was in New York. Now it's spread out everywhere. Every major city. Has Fashion Week. Everybody got a Fashion Week. It is spread out all over the United States. The different things that goes on with that. So, could you imagine anything about that? The designers.
Yeah, I can imagine there were a different number of designers. So many clothing lines. You know, I know there were some emerging fashion designers there. Yeah, there's probably some similarities between the brands.
But you know, one of the things too that as I was doing my research before New York Fashion Week, and you said so many designs and so many brands, and one of the things that's really, I like this piece that's becoming part of New York Fashion Week. They're now doing the major designers and their team are now doing their designs in different stores across the country. There's designers now who look at what's happening up on that runway and they redesign it, put it in Walmart, put it in Target. I mean, so the fashion can go anywhere because a lot of that stuff up there, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. I've never understood how people pay that. You know, 2 strips up the side.
You know, like you said, a lot of the designers, you know, I know like Bebe, Sylvia Vergara. I don't know if she's like a top designer, but she has a line, and that's at Walmart. And then Bebe has their line at Walmart too.
Yeah. So they're hitting. See, this is why I tell people be patient because the industry is changing. There was a time that you didn't see those designers in those stores.
Right.
If you went to a Sears or a JCPenney's, it was just their label. That's changed. The designers are getting smart. How many people are going to actually spend $20,000, $30,000 on some of those outfits they sit up there?
Yeah.
But the working people, the working class, the middle class, they'll go to, you can start with the Nordstroms, then they'll go down from the Nordstroms to the Macy's. You can go down from the Macy's, and from there you go down to Walmart and Target. There's a market, and they're tuning into those markets.
I know Snoop, he has been offered, I think he's been offered a deal with Skechers.
Yes.
Right? So he's like, a lot of people, and like, I know a lot of black people don't really wear, like,
I wear Skechers.
I like Skechers, but like back in when I was like in elementary school or middle school, you know, there was more of, they would like, we kind of get teased if you were black and you wore Skechers, but I like
Oh, you really did?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like a thing. Like black people don't wear Skechers.
Oh my goodness! Well, I have nothing but Skechers.
But he said,
I have some on today.
Yeah, I like Skechers. They're comfortable. I still have that little stigma when I wear them.
I did not know that.
But he said, it's a huge market. It's, because a whole lot of people, everybody wears Skechers now. Like,
Yeah, they're comfortable.
everybody, every age range, it's a family brand,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm gonna tap into that. So I'm gonna get that money.
So
why not?
that excitement, all we talking about the runway up in New York Fashion Week, the lights, all that happened. But these designers, the big shoe design, I think this year, it's normally in October, but I think they've changed it, where all the shoe manufacturers come to New York and the buyers come and they start buying the shoes and different things like that. And then whatever the designs are that you'll see in 2 years, those are the shoes you'll start seeing up on the runway. But I never knew that. I wear them because they're comfortable.
They are comfortable.
I wear them because they're comfortable. They massage your feet when you walk, and they're stylish.
Yeah, they got better with the style.
Because I guess back in the day they didn't. I didn't even know they were out back then. To me, this is something new in the last 3 or 4 years.
They've been out for a long time.
Isn't that something? Yeah, I like my little stretchers. Okay. So you've been in the industry for a minute, Valencia. What were some of the thoughts or even a couple of things that not even if it's dealing with New York Fashion Week, it'd be dealing with, but you've been in the DC Fashion Week before. What are some of the things that when I looked on that runway, and let's just go back to January of 2024. You look up on that runway, the diversity was amazing. They still were thin a lot, but the diversity and the skin tones and the hues and even the thin, the body shapes had shapes. So I see it coming. I see it coming. It's coming.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to the New York Fashion Week lately or at all, but one day I will. But COVID opened up the venues to online experiences, and I'm aware that many designers are taking their events online in order to reach a wider variety of a wider audience than before. I would imagine that there were some live streams that featured everything.
Okay. Oh yeah, there were. Let me put this a minute. Yeah, there was the live streams. And that's was the neat thing about that. It has opened up so many opportunities for the online, the online. From the research, there were people who had their online things. They were setting up booths and different things in convention centers, and people who like their lines. So there was a whole thing for that. That was different, where people can just kind of go in and try things on, where they don't have that opportunity because they're looking online, and be true to size. They even had people measuring. That was even back in January, having people measure you, so because people don't know their measurements, and when they go to those and I did that. I ordered from a catalog, and I just ordered. I thought my true size, but it was too small. I had to go up a size. But I buy American, because a lot of these things aren't cut and made in America. I wear my true size. So you really, and people. Even coming to the modeling agency, even coming to people don't know how to measure themselves. But you ask a person what size they wear, they'll say small, medium, and large. That's not really what size you wear when people are asking you that, especially in the fashion industry. So yeah, that's a good one that people can kind of do that. So the joint ventures were up there.
Vendors?
Yeah, the new vendors were up there, up at the new Fashion Week. And when I say new vendor, I'm talking about exactly just what I said. Catalogs. Mimi, you seen that catalog called Mimi?
No.
And I think it was Style We was supposed to be up there, be represented. I didn't see Temu on the list. But
I'd be interested if I saw Temu, but
do what?
if I saw Temu on the list, but go ahead.
Yeah, because they do a lot of fashion.
They have clothes.
But I bought some pieces from them. Have you ever tried?
My mom got me like some basic shirts, but she got my niece some things, but it just didn't look that good.
It didn't look that good. So when I for children, I don't think I'll buy them because they hard on clothes. But I mean, they have some nice things. Style We, I bought quite a few things from Style We. And I'm not sure of all. I knew Mimi. Have you seen that one called ME-ME?
No,
They were going to have representatives. So that was a whole new different avenue up there in New York for people who were working on different designers, go to the different websites. I mean, the beauty of it, Valencia, you don't miss anything anymore. Stream it.
Yeah, you can. Even though DC Fashion Week, I think it was, I don't know if they do it every time, but about 2 years ago, they had live streamed their DC Fashion Week show.
Okay.
And I don't remember them doing that before.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so.
All right, so time for a break. We'll be right back.
Okay. Watching the Marlene Cox
Watching
Show.
the Marlene Cox Show.
You're watching the Marlene Cox Show, a show about models for models.
When you look at what hair does, hair brings people together.
Hair is an expression of ourselves. Hair is an expression of our roots. It's an expression of our future. It's an expression of our artistic capabilities. Hair is everything.
Ashtay is a combination of my two daughters' names, Ashley and Taylor.
We actually started Ashtay products on a dare, believe it or not.
My wife dared me to go out on my own because I had turned down quite a few offers from other companies.
I said, so what are you gonna do? If you so bad, why don't you start your own blankety company? And he said,
that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Just like that. We saw there was a need for a product that took care of this new combination coined global texture.
You have an African American father, Hispanic mother, so therefore our daughter represented global texture.
Here they are in the early 90s with two mixed children who have this hair texture that's like, ¿Qué es esto? What is this? And they needed to find a solution for that.
We created global texture, therefore, who knew best how to deal with it? Ashtay has a unique blend of amino acids and conditioners and moisturizers that help to deal with the global texture market.
We impact our customers' lives through education, through them selling retail. Now they're able to have a profitable business, take care of their families, build and create first-generational wealth.
The education of the stylist to think, to be accountable, to save money, we put that first, then we sell the product.
Most people just look at the stylists differently than we do. We look at them as entrepreneurs and as business people who want their kids to have the best education and travel the world and experience the finer things of life.
We have thousands of cosmetologists that have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they credit us for it. And in turn, they are extremely loyal to the brand. We truly look at every single one of our clients as they're part of our family.
We don't just sell a product, we build relationship. It is our goal to know our customers name by name, person by person, and impact their lives moment by moment.
And we're back. You're watching the Marlene Cox Show, a show about models for models.
You know how New York is. I don't even have to tell people. Anyone who's been to New York or saw a movie about New York, you know how New York, but you know something I did notice? I didn't notice as many yellow cabs.
True, because now you have, Uber and Lyft, rideshare services.
I was shocked. I mean, you normally in New York, you just rows and rows of cabs, so people have other means of transportation. Things are changing. Who would have ever thought there would be less cabs? So think about that for our industry. One of the things, too, when you were going there, because the different things that I saw, and I think other people, if they haven't tagged into this, they probably did, because New York Fashion Week actually started doing this about 3 years ago, or maybe 4 years ago, where they were doing everything for having the top hitters have panel discussions with the industry, where they're actually a newscaster or a journalist would actually have a panel discussion with a lot of people from casting directors, from show producers, all of those things were going on. So because all of those things relate to fashion. If you're doing a show, you have costume design, and if you're doing casting, you're looking for people to come in to cast in a role, so fashion, makeup plays a part into what the first, of course, interview is usually plain. Then the second time they say, I want you to come into character. So you have to know how to work. So all of that makes a big part, but the panel discussions, I have never been to one of those. I would like to get to one of those. Of all of that, and then all of the film screening that was going on up there. There's people up there doing that who were not commissioned. But what they'll do is once they edited that, people walking down the street, they'll ask people for permission. They might pull a model or a couple of people off the street and said, I'm working on this video, this movie, this everything, would you like to be in it? So there's a lot of things going on up there that normally is not just New York Fashion Week. See, so there's a lot of things that are going on up there. Then you have your top style influencers. You got all of them. They're up there, and who are they? What makes up a style influencer? Anyone can be a style influencer. You just got to know your brand, deal with your brand, and make yourself known to these events. Yeah. And you have the opportunity to sit on those type of panels of discussion, and they take those things and they make documentaries out of them. So it's a lot going on up there. You actually have different hotels, convention centers, wherever people might go, where they're actually having actors and talent come in to really screen for things other than the fashion show. Yeah. So there's a lot. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm quite sure all the other cities by now have probably picked up on some of that they're doing locally, because films are made everywhere. Yeah.
I heard there was some kind of, I don't know what film it was, but I think there was a film going down in Frederick. They shut down some part of downtown for a film. So I was like, oh, Frederick?
Yeah,
Like, wow.
Frederick brought Film Fest back.
Okay.
So there are films being made down there. You'd be surprised at the opportunities. I'm amazed that's going on. So West Virginia, there's a big film. They make movies over there. There was one movie, they had the opening to that movie years ago. They had one opening in Hagerstown. They had another one in Baltimore, but the film was actually made in West Virginia. Okay. Yeah, so it's coming. A lot of films, Baltimore is a big city, but a lot of films that you see on HBO and what's the other one, Peacock, a lot of those things are being, Disney, a lot of that stuff is being filmed right in Baltimore. Okay. It's amazing. There's a company that I'm trying to connect with. They're somewhere in Montgomery County. We did one film for them years ago, and they filmed for those shows like Snap. I mean, it's a little scary. They do all that kind of. A lot of that's being filmed right in Montgomery County. Okay. Wow, so it's everywhere. It's just making those connections and right. Yeah, and then what's some of the list of virtual what?
Yeah, there's like some virtual things going on, like in the metaverse, the virtual reality. I know a show I was watching. I forgot which show, but it was about fashion, and they had to come up with a design in the metaverse. Oh. Yeah, so people are actually like buying things like they have their avatar in the metaverse, and they want their avatar to have clothes. You can pay for these things. I think it's kind of strange, but some people, they're going to spend their money on like a designer metaverse outfit. So they had them, come up with a design for the metaverse. Some of the designs, you can. But the thing about it is that you can be really, really creative. You can go because it's a metaverse. It's not like real. But you can create stuff that you couldn't wear in real life. So they had like it's like a puffy coat, but like little hooks coming off of them. But it was interesting.
So who do they put it on if it's not real? So who's wearing it?
So whoever has the avatar in the metaverse.
Oh, okay.
So they have like a fake person, like their own avatar. It's me. But I have my own avatar in the metaverse, and I say I want to,
dress her up like this, or he'll
wear this, wear that. Yeah, designer clothes in the metaverse now. You can probably buy houses in the metaverse.
I got to look into that. I'm not familiar with that one at all. Yeah, you say, what did it say? You don't even have to leave your house. You can do. Now we got to watch that.
Right.
You know,
right.
because you can get that being in the home sometimes, disassociation with the real world.
Yeah.
It can turn into a lot of other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to modeling, the common perception is that it's about pretty face, slender body, and the runway. I just talked about all of these wonderful things that are happening up in New York, and there's every size, shape, color, hue, whatever. It's all in that. It's not just the runway. That's the focus point. You remember, we're a capitalist society, so people are always looking at ways to make money. The restaurants, the food. I mean, everybody's up there doing things. There's last time I was up there was restaurants had little stage shows going on with some of the local designers. So there's a lot going on that you can really do. There's a lot of opportunity for people because of this outside of the runway, but also on the runway. And New York, you're discovering the world of fashion, and but you have to remember now, Paris is 2 to 3 years ahead of us. You know, so. But New York is our starting place, and then we go to. We're catching up. It's not, we're catching up. We're catching up with a lot of the, and I think a lot of things because America are the makers of the hip hop. They brought and the urban, and the urban fashion back in. So you saw, and they had a whole platform for urban. I saw that on the list, a whole platform for the urban look and what they call streetwear. Is streetwear and urban, do they consider that the same or two different things?
It's kind of the same category.
Okay.
I mean, urban is not exactly streetwear. I mean, kind of is, kind of isn't. Urban, streetwear is mostly, to me, like T-shirts, jeans, baggy jeans, stuff like that. Urban can be, I guess for ladies, I don't know how to explain it. Like urban, like it's not the couture. It's not
it's not couture. Okay.
The standard. Like we have our different things.
That we would wear.
It's kind of hard to explain, but
like people would wear, a rapper might wear. That's nice. Is that part of what you call urban? Or what about them? They call them sliders. I call them beer room slippers. What is
that's
that?
probably like an urban thing.
That's an urban thing. I told a little girl, I stopped her one day. I was in the mall, in Columbia Mall. I said, I just want to ask you a question. And she was dressed to the till. I mean, she was well dressed young lady. I said, why are you wearing beer room slippers? She said, oh, no, these are sliders. I knew what they were. But I just wanted to see what her feedback was. And she was dressed to the tilt. So it wasn't like we didn't have something. So I guess it's about that time that we're going to go ahead and go out on our next break. And everybody, you know what you're doing now. You're watching The Marlene Cox Show.
You're watching The Marlene Cox Show, a show about models for models. And we're back. You're watching The Marlene Cox Show, a show about models for models.
Welcome back to The Marlene Cox Show. So let's continue back on our discussion on New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Every great designer began as an unknown. They had to start from somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
So, in addition to some of fashion's most storied names, you had the opportunity to see independent and emerging designers. Many made their appearance on the runway for the first time.
Yeah, of course.
Some were new, and others are successful designers in their home country, and they made their appearance at New York Fashion Week for the first time.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that?
I like that. I think that's like you started it off with everyone is unknown. Everybody had a start. There was a starting place for everyone. And if they're coming from their different home countries, their home state in the United States, and they want to make a big, it's room for everyone. You know, it's room for everyone to really participate in New York fashion. We go on so many different levels now.
Yeah.
You got so many different levels that you can participate in for designers, and by opening it up like that, you bring in the different hues, you bring in the different groups of people, you bring in the different height doesn't have to be as much. You bring in a lot of things, and I think that's good for the industry, the diversity. In the industry,
people want to
very,
see different things. You know, they don't want to see the same type of look all the time. And if somebody new can have a fresh take on something that maybe somebody else didn't think about before.
Yeah. So I really think that having that beginning, the unknown, and remember now, a lot of people we consider unknown work for some of the top designers, the Michael Kors and so, and then they branch away because Michael Kors he has a team of people who he commissioned on most designers, and they'll say, this is my inspiration for this season, and they have people who go out and create their inspiration and bring it back. They approve it or disapprove it. Those designers branch off eventually. We don't know about them, and then they start their line. You know, so it's once you get at a certain level, you're not really sitting down there designing anything. You just have the inspiration behind it. You're not going cutting the fabric. You're not, you're not doing a lot of the things that you need. You're not in the showroom fitting the models and stuff like that. Once you get that big, so you have designers, Calvin Klein, people who have come from different designers. Some of the ones we know of came from those top designers, and then they had the opportunity to put their brand. It's work for everybody. So you get your opportunity to work under someone. Some unknowns come that way. Some people start off in the small stage, and they build it up. And you got reporters, you got fashion and style reporters all over the city, everywhere, going to them.
Some people get their start from competition shows, like what's that show? The runway show. But the designers. It used to be on Bravo or something like that.
I can't think of Fashion Runway.
No, but
similar
I can't
to.
think of the show.
I can't.
Runway is in the title. I just can't think of the show. But they had designers, compete to get their own line.
Get their line. Yeah. And that's a nice thing to do. They need to start.
Project Runway.
Project Runway. How can we not think of Project Runway? And one of my favorite designers, who's from DC, I can't even think of his name, I went blank. He's from DC, who was part of that show. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I went blank. He'll come back to me. He was part of that, putting that whole thing together. Right out of DC. He's older now. He's up in my age range, but he was part of putting that project together. So there's all kinds of way to get yourself out there, just like model competitions. You win them. That way you can win a cover of a magazine. There's so many ways of getting yourself out there. And I think what a lot of models don't realize, and I'm hearing it over and over and over, putting their stuff, everything out there on Facebook is not the answer. Unless it's a private site that only people can go to it who you invite. Like say you wanted to, this site is set up for professionals to go in, marketers and things like that. But just to have it out there.
I think it depends, because I've seen some, I forgot where I saw it, but I know some, even some like fashion shows, they ask you for your Instagram handle.
Oh yeah, they do ask you. They do. Yeah.
And some it can't be private because you have to be public.
For Instagram? Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying it's not really good, but sometimes if they're looking for a new face and you're splashed everywhere around the world, because when you go on Instagram and that stuff, then you're not that face they're looking for. That's what I'm saying. You put stuff out there, but don't put too much stuff out there. You got to be careful of that, because they do ask you for that. That's where and then when they ask you for that, they watch who's following you. And all, they look at a lot of stuff, so you just gotta do it. If that was the easier way to do it, if that was the best way of doing it, we wouldn't have casting calls. We wouldn't have model calls, because people they'll sometimes call you in from seeing that. That helps a little bit.
Yeah. I'm glad you have like both ways that you can be discovered.
You gotta do both.
Some people have been discovered off of Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. Some people you would never thought, but they have been discovered. I'm like, wow. But it's where you hit the market when it's hot. We never know when that is. Oh yeah. We never know when that market is going to be hot. That you are really what they're looking for. Right. And like when you deal with a big agency like Elaine Ford, and she sees a model. First of all, she has a client list that's amazing, and so she knows what. 4 years from now, she already knows what her client's looking for 4 years from now. So when they're searching out these models and prepping them and getting them ready for that design when it kicks off, they're ready to roll, with those models. And they put those models in house. They train them and very few people pick somebody up, say they modeling in big companies and throw you out there. They get you prepared, for it. And they do. It's free. Like some people say, well, why do I have to pay? Some agencies don't, and that's true. But the thing is, there's no free ride. If you're dealing with a big agency like Ford, Elaine Ford, and she's going to bring you in, she's going to train, and those contracts you write, for the first 2 or 3 years, most of your money is going back to her. Nobody invests in, people are not just giving you anything. You have to, that's how they being invested. And then they have control over your contracts for a period of time, which is not bad because they're getting you work that you would not have gotten if they bring
the
you
exposure.
In. Yeah.
So it sounds like being at New York Fashion Week is an experience and a true journey of discovery and the perfect opportunity to discover emerging designers who are pushing the boundaries of fashion and style.
Ooh, yes. Well, Valencia, I could not say that even any better. Of this year's events that went forward are just amazing. As last year, the February event that kicked it off. So New York Fashion Week. I mean, you do know what they're showing this. This is September. They're already in fall, right? They're going to show you what's going to be happening from October, November, December, and then they're going to kick off on the next one in January, and then they're going to be showing you what's going to happen in the spring and summer. So they're always ahead of the seasons. So those are the season, and they're just really bringing a clip of some of those more elegant things. So when they kicked it off in January, February of last year, they gave you a lot of what was going to happen.
This year?
Yeah, this year, the 2024. And then they added to, some of that. And some of those people actually going to throw out some of their spring stuff. What's going to, for 2025. So they just gave you a little sliver of what you're going to do for the holidays, like a recap. But a lot of it, really, when you think about it, is for spring of 2025. So it's amazing how they do that, they'll give you a little bit of winter stuff because winter's around the corner, but the main collection will be for those times of month. So the fashion industry is amazing. It keeps evolving. It just keeps going around and around. It keeps making changes. One of the things that I'm liking about fashion, it's not always going back to what we used to see. Designers are getting so more creative. Like the Roaring 20s, they had that, but now what they would do with the Roaring 20s, you would see another version of that. But these designers are not doing that. They're coming up with their own identity in things. So really pure and clean for what they do. Yeah. So, I'm telling you, I'm exhausted talking about it. It's just so amazing, the things that we go over with that. So if you want to go ahead and let them know, or you want me to go ahead and let them know about, we hope these shows have, go ahead.
Okay. So we hope this show has been exciting and entertaining for you as it was for us. And hopefully it has provided you with an opportunity to get a look at the various venues and what happened during the event week of the New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
If you are really serious and interested in the industry, that event was for you.
Yes. That was amazing, Valencia. And always, we have to tell you one of our major sponsors, the Maya Modeling Talent Agency. If you want more information about that, they need to tap into us. Yeah. We don't know everything, but I think working together, we can all work together and make it better. You need to get in touch with us. It's info@mayamodels.com. and we will get back with them on those areas. So, is it what time? Is it that time, or do we need to pull it in, John? He's making us laugh, you know what I mean? Fashion Week. I'm just giving people a recap.
Well, I could say, like, on the runway, there were some, from what I've seen online, there were some rich textures, like some velvet color,
yes.
velvet, wool, and tweed. That was on the runway. Bold colors, and those like the Pantone colors. I believe one is like a scarlet red.
Oh yeah, the scarlet red is hot. Yeah, that was on the runway. Yeah, that's hot. Yes.
And like a light, like a denim kind of blue color that was on the runway.
Yeah, so those are, Any other colors that you saw? Scarlet was beautiful because I saw it put pink, the new pinks, the Pantene pinks with it. I saw some futures put together with it. I saw some yellows, the new yellows put together with that red, and the blue, grays. I saw some deep grays put together with some of those colors. So you can work the colors, and you can work the colors that complement you. So that's the nice thing about understanding what you can wear, and understanding your type, your color tones, and all of those things that you can wear. So they were great with that. I think that was a plus. That was a plus. That was a plus on the runway. So
there was a lot of layering of different garments. So like layering wool with silk.
Yo, wasn't that beautiful? Now that I like, the wool, and I love tweeds. So when you say that, I think of tweeds and silks. And my favorite material, didn't see a lot of it, but it's some out there. It's like a linen silk.
Okay.
A little heavier than silk, but not so wrinkly as a linen. I saw a lot of layering on some of those type of things. So layers are in, But see, the thing about it, layering is a technique. You just don't take and throw a bunch of stuff on. It has some. Did you notice the big puffy sleeves?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big puffy sleeves. I don't know what I would do with something like that. But I did notice a lot of big puffy sleeves and that silk, and then then the bottom you would see tweed, or that velvet. Velvet was hot. Velvet was hot. Yeah, that velvet. That was really hot. So they really, the makeup was amazing. The colors. I mean, normally you saw reds, and the lips were totally different. I was seeing people in reds have purple lips.
Okay.
So they just went to the color palette and they just blended a whole lot of things in. I saw a lot of when I looked at the videos preview, I saw a lot of like purple, the new Pantene purple, just in the middle, and then the outside was all the red. They did some amazing things with color. Amazing things. So you have it all there. You got it all there. Eyebrows highlighted, people were, and I'm not with that one. They have the regular, and then they would have a little blue and things like that. Some people do it permanently, and some people, they do it where you can just take it off. Just like you have the hair pieces where you can put the pink and blue in. People have clip-ins, and some people just get it done. So I mean, it's up to you what you want to do, with that. So.
And that Western look is coming back.
The Western look is hot. I saw the Western look, and I wasn't not in New York, in Atlanta. Oh my goodness, I've seen it hooked up different ways. And now I did see Western looking urban. I did see some looks like that looking urban. And then of course Beyonce with her silver or gray, whatever you want to refer to it. I've just seen so many looks with that. Unbelievable that's coming back. So I haven't gotten into the Western that much. I do like the boots. I think that would be my piece. My statement piece would be the boots.
I like boots.
Yeah.
In general, so yeah.
Yeah, the boots would be my piece. So what about the Western look you like?
Of course, like you said, the boots. I do like the vest, but I don't pull out the vest, but I could do like a fringe purse.
Oh yeah, there you go. A
Like
purse, yeah, a purse, a scarf. If you don't like the other parts, if you just get a nice Western type scarf and tie it, put a little loop thing through it, let it go over this way. You know, you can do a lot of stuff. Yeah, so you don't have to be a total Western.
Right.
I think that's what a lot of people think you got to be total Western. I like people who blend it. It's not overwhelming. When you look at them, you still see them. You just don't see their look. You see the total person,
Right.
which I think is a really, really great look to have when you're going any style. I just like that, period. Just a blend of and understanding your body type, understanding your skin tones, so all that stuff looks well on you. You know. So we have really had a lot.
I know one of the fashion trends coming up is the silver look, and so that's gonna be interesting to see that.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see the silver, because gold's my color, so I'm gonna see how I do in silver. Maybe silver and gold blend might work.
All right, so you are watching the Marlene Cox Show. We'll be right back.
You are watching the Marlene Cox Show.
Welcome back to the Marlene Cox Show. It's time for Tips and Trends.
Rita by Wallace and Posey. Seize the moment with Rita. Inhale the intimacy. Now, go to our website at wallaceposey.com.
And we're back. You are watching the Marlene Cox Show. We're here for you, becoming you.
Welcome back to the Marlene Cox Show, and now it's time for Tips and Trends. So today I'll be showing 2 videos, Fall 2024 Fashion Predictions, Part 1 and Part 2.
Let's talk fall 2024 fashion trends. The runways are out. They have been out. It's almost fall time. It's right around the corner. There are so many fun styles, so let's get into it. There are 2 huge colors this year. Last year I talked a lot about this bright red, and almost 8 million of you had a lot to say about it, so we're taking this bright red, and it's moving more towards this red wine, maroon, Bordeaux, darker red. It's very beautiful. I think it's so chic. A perfect fall integration. This is so easy to accessorize with jackets, coats, hats, bags, everything. But what really caught my eye is how much green we saw on the runway and how many reports we're seeing about it. This is such a fun green to me. I think it's perfect for fall. One of my favorite pictures, as we know. This fall is said to be one of the most colorful falls ever, so we'll see this olive green. You might also see it in brighter shades like this. We might see oranges, purples, blues, pinks, all of those things. Now, this huge trend that I'm not seeing a lot of people talk about is this Western style, this Western influence we're seeing everywhere. Now, this is about the tinsel on the runway, which will be huge also, but we saw so much fringe. I think this is so fun for fall because you can incorporate it into cowboy boots, which is probably the main way we're going to be seeing it. In addition to fringe like this, overall just a hint of Western, with more romantic pieces like this, a lot of vests like this, minor integrations like this, and of course so much denim, which is a huge trend as well this year. Denim has been trending so much since last fall, but we'll see it even more. As it's getting colder, I think we'll see it in a lot of jumpsuits, more of these fun little tops, and more interesting sets kind of like this that are a little more structured. We'll see a lot more workwear like this. Vogue calls it corporate values. This style and the pinstripes might look really familiar. It's all been trending for quite some time, and I do love it because blazers, pinstripes, they're very wearable. We're seeing a lot of styles repeat this year because this is said to be one of the slowest trend cycles that we've seen in a while, which is really fun. So we'll take a lot of trends from last year and use them again this season. Similar style, just a different font. We are going to be seeing so much silver this year, especially with the Western influence. It's cool tone, so it's perfect for fall. You'll be seeing a lot of bags like this and accessories like this. I'm really excited about it. Stay tuned for part 2 because there is so much this year I can't even cover it all. Let's Let's talk fall 2024 fashion trends. Fall is right around the corner and all the styles are starting to roll out. So let's talk about what we're going to be seeing this upcoming fall. A huge trend that we're going to be seeing everywhere, which is a little shocking, is this new play on trench coats. They're all cropped. This is going to be something that's very, very wearable that we can take from runway fashion and easily wear. A huge trend that we're going to be seeing is the rise of jerseys and athletic wear. With fall sports like baseball and football coming in, we'll see integrated more into our fashion. Obviously, we have runway fashion, which is so great, but this is directly wearable. You see athletic down here and kind of the jersey style around here. This is so great because you can pair it with long pants, skirts, jackets, coats, tennis shoes, boots, everything. Even combine it with different trends like the Y2K. We see the purses, the Western with the skirt up there, the Moto with those biker boots down there. I think this is something that everyone can do. It's so cute. You don't have to like sports to wear it, but it's so fun. This is not surprising, and whether you loved it or hated it last year, the mob wife aesthetic really set this off into gear. We saw fur all over the runway, so fur coats. This is a great integration of a lot of the greens we'll be seeing. Of course, our classic favorite fall red. And we are told it's going to be a very colorful fall, so even a pink coat like this is so fun. Saw so many variations of it. It is really playing on the mob wife aesthetic, which will be there a little bit as grunge will also be in. But whether it's this or a bit more like the mob wife aesthetic with animal print, fur coats will be huge this fall 2024, which is great because it's very practical and will keep us warm. We saw animal print all over the runway, so expect to see it a lot this fall, which is no surprise because it completely took over last year, but it's going from just leopard print to all animal print. This is how I personally styled it, and here are a few examples if you're not trying to wear it yet. Something different that we're seeing though, the rise of cowhide. So while we have the mob wife aesthetic and animal print, we also have this cowhide coming in. I thought this was going to trend a few years ago, so I actually have a jacket like this already. I thought this is very fun, and this is playing on the Western trend that we're seeing everywhere. Western is going to be huge this year all around, and this is another great example. This is very fun. It's such a statement piece. It could be a really great addition to your wardrobe. Stay tuned for part 3 because there's still so much more to go over.
So in the first video, we saw there was the denim on denim trends going to be coming back. Their cowhide look coming back. And in the second, and also suede clogs will be coming back, be trending. In the second video, we saw their cheetah print is going to be trending.
Oh, wow.
I like animal print. See what I
do
have on?
too. Yeah, I love it too.
Then those were the tips and trends. Now it's time for
Around Town. So we are going to take you around the DMV, around town, and we have some great events coming up for you, and that will be Cirque du Soleil. I think I said
Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil, and that's going to be at the Capital One Arena. So you all know where that is, on 601 F Street. That's in Northwest Washington, D.C. It's going to be a big French Canadian phenomenal. So if you want to get out to that, and that's going to be September through the 11th through the 15th. So you still have time to get out to see that for that particular event. But the one that I want you to really concentrate on is on September the 21st, the National Day of Dance, and it's going to be at one of my favorite places, the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. And I don't even have to tell you the address on that. It's in North Washington, D.C. It's going to be like a cut of rug at that year, National Dance at the Kennedy Center. There's also going to be free classes. There are going to be performances, and part of the show is going to be free. There will be things later on in that evening that you might, and that's September the 21st. So you really want to get out there and see that at the Kennedy Center. And that was
Around
Town.
So that was a great show.
Gosh.
Talked about so many things going on with
many
New York
things.
Fashion Week.
Oh, that was
so many
exhausting.
looks, so many new things I saw.
Yeah, and then that tips and trends. One of the things I was really interested in when you started talking about the tips and trends was the suede clogs. I love suede shoes. Mm-hmm. So now they got it in the clog format. So that was nice to know. So look back at those tips and trends. Look at all the things that you might have missed off of New York Fashion Week. Mm-hmm. But the same thing, always remember you can stream. You know, there's videos that they have. You can go to the main website for New York Fashion Week. Just type in main website and it'll show up all of the things that you need to see for that. So that's going to make it a great time for New York Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6 minutes.
So I mean, I'm just so excited about all the things that we talked about up in New York Fashion Week, and I'm hoping that younger people, when I say young, I'm not saying age, I mean young in the industry, know that there's so many opportunities to participate in New York Fashion Week. You know, we talked about it from catalogs, because you can actually go and be measured at different people's booths, different things that are done there. There's producers there, there's screening there, there's casting going on for movies and different fashion shows throughout the country, because people are coming from all over the world. So everybody that's in New York that day are not from New York, they're from everywhere. So that not only the people who are coming to see the event, the people who are participating. I think the panel, if you get into a panel discussion, when you go to your website, hit panel, try to find the panel discussions, and really look and see the depth of what's going on in the fashion industry. That helps you as far as a model, a talent, an actress, can help you sit down and kind of finalize, okay, this is the direction it's going. Where do I fit in with this for where I want to go based on my goals? What can I talk to my agent? That's something people don't understand. You're part of a modeling agency. They are responsible for helping you get jobs, but you are responsible too. Just like if you go to the doctors, you don't just go to the doctors and say, I don't feel good. They say, where are the symptoms? You got to give them a little bit of information. So as you want to do more things in your career, you got to make that known to your agent. Whether you're in Maya Modeling Talent Consulting Agency or you're a private agency or however you do, you got to let them know where you're going. We change. Our look changes. It puts us in different categories and different looks at different times. So we have to always be you got to be willing to change. That's the street secret.
And if you want to get involved in New York Fashion Week, even if you're not a model, you can intern. They always need interns. You can volunteer.
Yes.
That's a good, nice way to get involved with New York Fashion Week.
Yes. There's so many things that you can do to get yourself involved in it, because people always forget about the behind the scenes. There's a whole lot goes on.
No show without everybody else helping out behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, it's behind the scenes, And I remember, I always think of Alicia Keys, and she's not a model, but she's an entertainer, a singer, how she started out singing and playing the piano. Now she's behind the scenes. She's directing and writing and all of those type of things. You get in where you can, but then you might want to change and go behind the scenes. It's a lot of money to be made behind the scenes, So people don't think about all the other work. There's so much talent. They need IT people. They need engineers. I mean, they need everybody, interns. I mean, everyone, there's a need for just about every talent that's out there. Say you might not be the model, you might not be the actor, but you have other talent that you can bring to the industry.
Maybe you want to be a stylist, and so you can volunteer, be an intern, and learn.
Yeah. So there are so many things that you can do in this industry to make it worth your while to continue to build a career. And then one of the things, Valencia, I think is so great, says, as you're a model, you're a professional model, anyone is a dancer or a singer, at some point in your career, you have to look and say, what else do I think I'm going to do? I'm going to stay in this field, but what are the other things that I can do behind the scene? I might be the stylist. I might be the costume designer. And, I might be the writer. I might be the pitcher. I might be the person that does the pitching. I might be the one who coordinates a show. There's so much in this industry as a model and talent entertainer that you can go into. You don't have to always, entertainers can go forever though. They just stand up there and sing. Not that y'all just stand up there and sing, because you dance and you have to prep for all the work that you do when you're up there. But in our field, you can go forever. We know a model who's 70. I think she just told me she turned 73 or 2, who's hitting the runway hard locally. She's doing this stuff locally. So and then she did go to New York Fashion Week. She did do some things up in New York with one designer back in July. So there's a lot of things that you have to do. And her heart desire met her back in the 80s, late 80s, when I met my husband. And she always said she wanted to be a model. She wasn't doing that. She was working 911. She was a 911 operator. Isn't that something? And when she retired, she hit it running. So there's so much. So, are we at that time?
1 minute.
Okay. I mean, I'm just giving you the energy about all the things in New York Fashion Week, all of the opportunities that people have. I mean, we can go on for another hour. There's so much. And the organization, CDWF organization, who actually writes the schedule and all that for Fashion Week. You might want to be forward looking and start doing that for next year, for next September.
Research about next year and see if you can plan a visit or plan to attend.
Yeah, and the earlier you get your rooms and your reservations, is cheaper, and those type of things. And I think we at the agency, I think we need to start planning a trip up. Up there. Normally we just do our models, but who knows what will happen with that. We'll see. But have a trip, and we all go up there to New York. Okay? So, gosh, that was a great show.
Yes, it was.
I think I had a workout. I think I burned about 100 calories just sitting here sharing about this. But, one thing that we always want to say.
Oh, we got to do the preview.
Oh, my goodness. We don't want to miss out on that. Go ahead.
So the preview for next week's show is going to be about self-care, wellness that keeps on giving. So you'll want to watch that.
You definitely want to watch that. And each day is a blank canvas. And guess what? You are the artist with every stroke of the brush. Whatever thought that you have, you are the one who will create that masterpiece. So let me tell you this. I'm going to give you a challenge this week. I switched up a little bit. On that masterpiece, that's your masterpiece. Make that your best. Not just for today, but I want to challenge you to make the masterpiece for the week. And then we will see you back here next week. And you know what? Some of you guys might want to really send some of your pictures into us as you're hitting them strokes of the brush and your thoughts and everything that you go through. Why don't you drop us a little note at info@mayamodels.com and tell me what you think. So some people ain't making a picture. Some people are writing down a purpose. Some people are writing down a goal. So this is what I will say to you. We will see you next week on the Marlene Cox Show. Where were they going to come back to next week? On the Marlene Cox Show.